Are you guilty of telling yourself things that seem to keep you stuck in a place you don't want to be in? You might believe that you're always really bad at something, or you're always really unlucky maybe. If you're familiar with these kinds of phrases, you need to hear this. Hi, I'm Callie, your go-to life and mindset coach, and I'm here to support you on this crazy journey we call life. Sometimes we become so set in our ways that we often feel that we can't challenge the beliefs that we feel are true about who we are as a person. You might say things like, I'm so bad with numbers, I'm so unlucky in love, I'm not smart enough to do that, or one that I get all the time, I'm way too old to do that now. The list goes on, and I'm sure you can think of many more that you probably tell yourself quite regularly as well. Your beliefs shape the way that you experience life. So for example, you could have the belief that you are really unlucky in love, and you tell yourself so regularly, I'm always so unlucky in love. Regardless of whether you meet the most amazing guy or girl in the world, they treat you like an absolute queen. It doesn't matter, because in your head, you're unlucky in love. So your brain is going to reflect that in your reality. Your brain is going to ultimately reflect back to you the things that hold true for the belief that you have. So if you're saying you're unlucky in love, your experiences are going to ultimately reflect that back to you. Because your brain won't always show you things that go against the beliefs that you have. Now, I talked a little bit about this in episode 3, so if you haven't watched that yet or listened to it back on the podcast, make sure that you do. It's really interesting, and it shows you just how powerful your brain is in showing you the things that reflect your beliefs. And this can work the other way as well. So you may be familiar with the term wearing rose-tinted glasses, and it could be that you've met a guy who's clearly so wrong for you, and all your friends are telling you that, and they're telling you you're wearing those rose-tinted glasses, but you can't see it yourself. Because in your head, you have the belief that this guy is incredible. He can do no wrong. He's perfect for you. And your brain isn't going to show you all of those things that are potentially wrong for you for this person. So to give you an example, I dated a guy quite some time ago who he really wasn't right for me. On reflection, he wasn't right for me. But at the time, I was so besotted with this guy. He was everything that I wanted. We had the same interests. He was drop dead gorgeous. And I looked past all of the negative things, the things that where he was making other people feel really uncomfortable. He was really arrogant. He was ghosting me all the time, and all those different things that would just be really typical red flags. But in my head, my brain didn't want to show me those things because I had the belief that this guy was right for me. Now, because I've spoken quite a bit about beliefs and how our brain can show us the reality that reflective of the beliefs that we have in episode 3, I'm not going to spend so much time talking about it in this video. So if you are interested in that, go and check out episode 3. Instead, in this video, I'm going to give you a bit of a secret insight really into a technique that I use with my coaching clients. So I'm basically just going to give you this one for free. So instead, I'm going to talk you through the key steps of how to really tackle those beliefs that are holding you back, that are keeping you stuck, potentially, I suppose, what we call your limiting beliefs. So are you aware of any limiting beliefs that you have about who you are as a person, how they're shaping your reality right now, how they're shaping how you're experiencing life? I've got you, don't worry. The first step is really easy, and it's actually just identifying the limiting belief that you want to change. Now, this could be related to a certain aspect of your life, whether it's in your relationship. Maybe you really struggle to trust in relationships. It might be that you've set up a new business, or you're working towards a new career and you're just really worried about how others are going to think of you. Maybe you're suffering with imposter syndrome, or it might be a more personal characteristic of your own. Maybe you feel that you lack confidence, and that's a really strong belief in who you are as a person, and that's something that you really want to change and work on. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, for you YouTubers, I do have a lovely video that I'm going to show you to walk you through this technique that I use with my coaching clients to really support those limiting beliefs. If you're listening to it on the podcast right now, don't worry, I'm going to talk you through the process, and if you have any questions, just get in touch anytime and I'm more than happy to support you, or just head over to YouTube and check out the video. So for this example, I'm going to use the limiting belief, I lack confidence. Now, this might be familiar to you. Now, as you think of this limiting belief, I lack confidence, or whatever it is that you've decided is your limiting belief, in your brain now is going to be this whirring machine of all of these different memories and experiences that really support that. So it might be that you've had some really bad experiences that's shown you that you lack confidence, or in relation to the limiting belief that you've chosen. And that's okay, don't panic. All of those memories and experiences are really embedded in our subconscious, and this is where the work really comes in, because in our subconscious mind are all of those memories and experiences that really support and back that belief, and that's what we need to change. Because as humans, we like to see things that back up how we think and the way that we feel. I mean, no one wants to be wrong, right? Which leads me to my next step. So you've now identified that limiting belief, and a lot of the time the wording would be really negative. And what I want you to do now is I want you to spin that limiting belief on its head. So what would be the complete opposite? So to give you the example of I lack confidence, if I was to completely spin that on its head and show the complete opposite, I would potentially say I am confident. It's the complete opposite. Now, don't panic if you don't believe it at first. I mean, chances are you're probably not going to believe it right away, because we're counteracting the limiting belief that you've identified as being true. But don't worry, because now we're going to strengthen that new belief with proof. And yes, you will have proof, believe me. Now, if you want more of a visualization to support you with this, I'm going to talk you through the steps of how to draw it out on a piece of paper. So again, if you're listening on the podcast, I do a visualization on YouTube if you wanted to check that out, but I'm going to talk you through it anyway, so you might be able to do it without. So now I'm going to introduce you to the belief table. This is a really popular coaching technique that I use quite frequently with my clients to really challenge the limiting belief that they have. So I want you to draw a table, okay? You're going to have the tabletop with the 4 legs, so just a standard table, and I want you to draw it on a piece of paper. Now, when you've drawn that table, your new belief that you're going to push in your mindset is going to sit on the top of the tabletop. So as you've drawn your table, I want you to, on the tabletop, write your new belief. So in my example, I'd write on the tabletop, I am confident. We're eliminating that limiting belief. We're not interested in it. We're not paying attention to it. We're focusing on the new belief. So on the tabletop, I'm going to write, I am confident. Now, the 4 legs of the table are what are going to hold that belief up and keep it stable and steady. So as with any table, if you think of a table, the tabletop has to be supported with legs. And the more legs the table has, the stronger the tabletop is going to be. So use that metaphor as you're working through this coaching activity. Now, because we know the tabletop is going to be supported with these 4 legs, we need to give some meaning to these 4 legs. Now, against the 4 legs, you're going to write 4 statements that prove to you that the belief on your tabletop is true and it's real. So this is what your next step is going to be. Against each of those 4 table legs, I want you to think back throughout your life, and I want you to prove to yourself by giving yourself examples that support the belief, the new belief that you're putting in place. So to go back to my example of I am confident, I would reflect back throughout my life and I would pinpoint key events and experiences that have proved to myself that I'm a confident person. Now, you have an entire lifetime of experiences and memories that you can work through. So don't panic. You can really spend some time working on this. As I use this technique with my clients, we spend quite a big chunk of time in the session working on this, because sometimes it can be quite difficult to actually pinpoint those events in your life, because in your subconscious, it's only reflecting all of the things that are supporting your limiting belief. And it's not remembering all of the amazing things that are supporting the new belief that you're putting in place. So what memories can you reflect on that really support this new belief that you're putting in place and really prove to you that this belief is actually true and it's relevant and real for you? Because it is, trust me. Now, as I've said, this could take some time depending on how deeply rooted those old limiting beliefs are and those experiences are that are supporting that old limiting belief. But really take that time to dig deeply into your past experiences and really highlight those key 4 experiences or memories that are challenging that limiting belief and really showing you otherwise, that are proving this new belief that you're putting in place for yourself. Now, if you can think of more than 4 statements, that's absolutely amazing. And I want you to really push that. Because if you think about it, a table can only get stronger and stronger the more legs it has. So if you can think of more than 4 statements that are really going to support and strengthen that belief at the top of your tabletop, then do it. Keep going until you can't think of any more experiences. The more legs your table has, the stronger the tabletop becomes. Now, I'd love to know if you actually try this coaching activity. Just give me some feedback on how you actually found it. I'd love to hear about how you're changing and shifting those limiting beliefs and really channeling your subconscious to think very differently and highlight new memories to you. Well, they're old memories, I guess, but when you're reflecting back, they're those new memories that you want in place in your subconscious that are really going to strengthen that new belief that you're putting in place for yourself. So yeah, let me know how you get on. The more statements and memories and experiences that you can think that really support and strengthen that new belief system you're putting in place, the weaker the old limiting belief becomes, because you're counteracting it, you're challenging it with a new belief and proving to yourself that that old limiting belief that you had is actually a load of rubbish, really, because you're proving to yourself otherwise. Now, when you've had a go at this activity, be sure to keep hold of that piece of paper. Now, really working on your subconscious and challenging those old limiting beliefs in your subconscious are really challenging. And what can happen is because our old limiting beliefs are so much stronger at the moment, they can start to creep in. And what we need to do is keep challenging them. So every time you can feel those doubts starting to creep in, you can feel that old limiting belief starting to creep in. Maybe you're having to experience something where you think, oh no, I lack confidence, that old limiting belief's coming back in. Really refer to this piece of paper, refer to this activity that you've completed so you can challenge it and you can counteract it. The more you can practice and evidence this new belief that you're putting in place, the weaker that old limiting belief becomes. But it does come with a lot of practice and a lot of dedication. So keep going, push through those moments of doubt and worry, because you will get there, I promise. You have got this. I believe in you. Now, I will be sharing more coaching techniques and insider experiences of my coaching programs and sessions. So please be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.